We're going to be talking about sugar fasting today. We talk about how it stacks up against PEDs or how you can use it with PEDs.
And as you guys know, I'm not on PEDs because I'm not. So
yeah, I mean, we've been talking about this on this show for a while, and it's not like this is unknown. It's not like I haven't known this. It's not like I didn't have an understanding of this, but carbohydrates are performance enhancing. Like they really help a lot when you're going to train. I even wrote about that in my book, The War on Carbs. I had some progressions where as somebody would lose more weight, I felt like it was a good idea as someone got leaner for them to introduce more carbs. But I didn't really realize some of the things that I'm now starting to discover by learning more about sugar fasting and the sugar diet and how powerful it can be to potentially help someone's metabolism, but also to maybe help someone with their insulin regulation. So a lot of people through dieting, through just like not consuming enough calories and through particular diets have either sort of messed up their metabolism a little bit, and we can talk about that. But what I would say messing your metabolism up would be that you're trying to lose weight. So you just are declining your calories for a while. Mm-hmm. The scale is the same. And so you try to decline your calories more. You try more fasting, you try more strategies, and still for some reason, nothing's really happening. So to me, that would make me think that there probably something happened with your metabolic rate.
Yeah.
Something is probably slowing down. Maybe somewhere along the line, you lost muscle or whatever might be happening. Maybe you're not getting sleep. Anyway, you see that natural kind of decline. And I know a lot of people that are on like 2,000 calories a day, 1,800 calories a day. They weigh 200, 220, and they're really struggling to lose weight. And you're thinking, like, a guy that's that size should be able to still very comfortably lose some weight. But it's like, what's the next move to do? And I don't think the next move to do is always just keep yanking calories out. And I don't think the next move to do is just to figure out how to move more. I think it'd be nice if we had some sort of other strategies in place to maybe try to figure out how can we fix this metabolism that has maybe it hasn't actually even slowed down. Maybe just the person isn't tracking or paying attention or not tracking correctly, and they're just over consuming, but they're still hungry. All these different things that could possibly happen. But whatever the case is, I think that a lot of people, they train really hard, they work out really hard, and they're still not getting the results that they're looking for. A lot of people want the scale to go down. It's probably a lot of the reasons why someone tries keto, probably a lot of the reason why someone tries carnivore. And for some people, they get stuck and no one's really still talking about getting that scale to drop. And that's how I started come upon sugar fasting, because, years ago, I was 330 pounds, worked my way down to around 240 or so. And then the last maybe 2 years or so, or 3 years, it's been very hard to go down from 240 down to like 230 and 220 and so forth. And this goal of getting to 200 is a newer goal. I didn't have that as a goal until I started getting into sprinting. So that's kind of where we're at now. And I discovered sugar fasting. So I'm like, you know what? I want to see if this works. I want to see what this does. I need to get to this weight because I have a goal of doing a 400 meter in under 60 seconds. And it'll be way easier to do if I don't weigh as much as I do as I did at the time. Mm-hmm. And so it's been helping me to drop weight. And so far I've lost about 15 pounds. And overall, it will have helped me lose about 20 to 25 pounds. So that's how I ended up landing on it. But as I started to do it, I was pretty impressed and pretty shocked with what it could do for me on the scale, what it was doing to me in terms of physique, and then also what it was doing for me in terms of performance. My workouts have been awesome. And maybe the workouts got better because I've stopped running because I have an injury to my foot. There could be a lot of reasons why the workouts got better. It's summertime. It's like easier to go and train when it's not cold out and so forth. But I believe a lot of it has to do with the sugar. And I think that's why a lot of athletes like TK Metcalf, and you hear sprinters and a lot of other athletes talk about that they just sort of naturally find that they'll eat candy or they'll eat some sugary stuff around their workouts, and they end up having enhanced effects.
Yeah. The one interesting thing is, as you you told me about like what to try eating, etc. Um, my experience when I started eating a little bit, because I don't really eat candy like that, man. And um, understanding that when you have that, you probably should go do something. You know what I mean? Because if you, for me, if I just like eat something like that and just sit around, I start to feel tired. I'm talking specifically candy, not fruit.
You can
But
feel like
candy.
shit. You can feel like total shit.
Absolutely.
You can feel sick.
Yeah. But you know, an interesting thing about this is there have been bodybuilders who have talked about like having candy during workout because bodybuilding and workouts like sprinting, bodybuilding, anything that has bursts of like even like kettlebell swings for a few minutes or whatever, that's a very glycolytic activity. And your body will use that energy source like that. Right. So it's, I think one thing that's really cool about this is that this is a tool. You know what I mean? And I think that if you can learn how to use these tools effectively, you can hit some really good PRs, you can have great workouts, and you don't have to necessarily be scared of having certain types of carbohydrates in your diet, which I think is going to be great for a lot of people that have followed this show who have been low carb, carnivore, or keto, introducing some things back into your diet and potentially seeing some benefits.
It's an option, like there's a lot of great options. And carnivore and keto, both of those diets help me. The paleo diet has helped me. And I think people they're like, why does he keep switching? Why does he keep hopping around from one to the other? And what I'm saying is, why wouldn't you?
It's a religion.
These are all like really cool interventions. Yeah. Why don't I go from being Catholic to being Christian to being Protestant or whatever the hell else?
Yeah.
Like, why not switch around these different things and these different beliefs? I mean, people actually do that, by the way. I mean, people
Absolutely.
do switch religions, right? To sometimes to cater to the way that they've changed over the years, right? People switch all kinds of things. And so for me, it's been kind of a natural progression, even though it seems like a complete 180 out of nowhere. These things have been kind of playing in the background a little bit as we've had more guests on the show. I was like, oh, it's not really just like a war on carbs. It's like kind of a little bit more of a war on highly processed foods, which I'm still a fan of. I still think that there's not a ton of room for a lot of processed food. Now, I know people see me posting about candy,
Sour Patch Kids,
and all the different stuff.
What tree does that come off of, dog?
It's the Sour Patch. It's not a tree. It's like a pumpkin patch.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So you might be looking up, and it's actually down.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you probably missed that. The Sour Patch Kids and the jelly beans and some of the different things I'm having. A lot of times it's like a small, like half of this cup or something like that of some candy before a workout or something, just because it's kind of fun. But no, it's not good for your teeth. In terms of like, is it bad for you otherwise? I mean, there's dyes in there. There's all kinds of like other stuff in there. That's not, yeah. I call that that is a candy salad right there.
You just want to make people mad. You're just trying to make people angry.
Yeah, some of it's a little trolly, right? Why not be a little trolly? I mean, I've done that with ribeyes and shit like that too. And maybe and look, you know what? I deserve whatever way people want to like flame me or make fun of me or target me for whatever things. I feel like I deserve it. I feel like I am out in front on a lot of stuff, and I feel like I am, voicing my opinion. And so I think people have the right to say, this is dumb. Like, what you're doing is dumb. Why are you teaching people about eating candy? And I just want to try to make it clear, but it's very hard to do. I am not trying to teach people about eating candy. I'm trying to teach people that there's many options that you have.
My God, yeah.
There's many options that we have to lose weight, and there's a lot of effective strategies. I felt like for myself that I needed something different, and I found the sugar diet, and it immediately started to have a positive impact on me. And then when I started to share it with other people, I wasn't really sure what was going to happen. So I was sharing like, oh, this is my experience. And then people tried it, and then I was shocked because people were like, I lost 10 pounds. I lost 8 pounds. I lost 15 pounds.
Anybody, just take the time to go to your Mark Smelly Bell channel. Okay, because right now we're on the Power Project channel. Go to Mark Smelly Bell channel. Go to any of these sugar diet videos that he's been putting out, and then go to the comment section. I think that like the amount, I've been shocked at the sheer amount of people who have been inserting some of the protocols that you're talking about, if not all of the protocols, and have been seeing just rapid fat loss out from stalls that they've been having for a long time, right? So that's quite an amazing thing you're already you're doing a diet, you're doing carnivore, you're doing keto, you're doing low carb. You try a different intervention, you start to drop, and now you realize that you have this other tool that you can use, right? That's a big deal, but it's not just one comment, it's literally hundreds of comments. That's why you can't necessarily ignore it. There's something there that you can figure out for yourself.
Like I said, the results that are coming in are awesome. We also have to keep in mind, like, this is still, even though people have done this in the past, there's been like, smoothie diets and juice fasting and so forth.
Fruitarian.
And right. Fruitarian. And Cole Robinson has a really interesting point about fruitarian. He said, look, a fruitarian diet will pull so much body weight off of someone that they can die from it. He's like, so let's not overdo that. Yeah. Like, why not just throw in some meat? So I still eat meat. I'm still having protein shakes. I'm still doing a lot of the stuff I normally do. And guess what else happens on this diet? You would never guess it, but a lot of the same rules that you would follow, a lot of the same principles, a lot of the same mindset that you would have towards any dietary intervention when you're trying to lose weight, they still apply. You're not just savagely just eating all day. You're not just sitting there like eating tons of candy or even tons of fruit, and drinking, tons and tons of juice. You're trying to eat. You're trying to find like a regular, eating schedule. If you want to eat 4 times a day or 5 times a day, I don't see any problem with that. And you want to make sure that you're getting in good nutrition. So if you try sugar fasting, which again is fruit juice, honey, maple syrup, sugar, and candy. And candy is like, don't eat too much fucking candy.
Just don't.
just don't do too much of that. But maybe it's just for an occasion. Maybe it's just for like a movie or something like that here and there. But if you stick with those foods and you do it for too long, we know that you're going to have deficiencies. You're going to be missing out on, like, where's the B vitamins?
It's your omega-3s. Where's
Yeah, right. So you can supplement some of that, but it'd be way better to eat it. It's going to be way more value to eat it. So maybe every 2 or 3 days you do that. Or if you don't mind the weight loss to maybe be slower, take your time with it and maybe just sugar fast intermittently for the first half of the day. And then the evening, have your lean meat and maybe a starch and maybe some vegetables. And I can't think of a diet that's healthier when you start having meat and eggs and vegetables and fruit and maybe even some dairy. Like, sounds like, I don't know if you can get more well-rounded than that. Sounds to me like almost like a vertical diet to some degree.